Yeah.
And yes, good morning to you all out there and welcome. This is, of course, Wake Up Nigeria, and we will be your flight captains for this morning, so prepare for takeoff. We advise that all passengers please fasten your seatbelts and get ready for a world of entertainment.
We'll be flying at an altitude of excellence, and the weather looks pretty good right here for a Monday morning. But we won't be using any of the safety guides at this time because it holds a no-holds-barred kind of flight.
Of course, we have light refreshments, and maybe a delightful awesomeness in the good-looking, in form of good-looking men. And a woman. Mr. Mike, you want to take it from there, Mr. Mike?
Good-looking gentlemen.
Yes, indeed. I mean.
This is a flight captains. We're making a descent. We're making some turbulence.
Listen, you're doing the Nigerian thing where we can't hear anything the captain or the flight attendant say.
So I'm wondering what airliner is this? But hey, come on, it's great to be here this Monday morning. Happy Eid. My name is Mike, Mr. Kennel. We are in for a blast this morning.
Yes, we are.
Yes, indeed, people. For the next hour and 45 minutes, it's going to be premium television experience. So you guys, don't go anywhere, okay?
We're definitely pumped and ready to take on a brand new week. Hopefully, we can share some of your Eid experiences over the weekend.
That means Ram.
After all, it's a public holiday. We, are always here, holiday in, holiday out, just for you.
Absolutely focused to achieve outstanding remarkableness. Is there such a word?
Really?
No.
Remarkableness?
I don't know. Yeah, I made that one up.
We make those words sound cool. Mondays are for motivation, though, and we hope to fill your cup today with the right amount to lift your spirits as well.
Yeah, always a full package here waiting to be delivered, and I am your captain alongside herself, and of course, Mr. Mike. My name is Mazino Appeal.
And I'm Titilaya Oyinson. Hey, you need to use that hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC across all social media platforms to be a part of this show.
Remember, you can also watch us live, by the way, from absolutely anywhere you might be. All you need is the app. You need to download it. It's free of charge, iOS or Google Play Store. It's that easy. And on GOTV channel 27 as well. And of course, hey, follow all the social media platforms.
Make sure you do. Make sure you do. So when it comes to being a part of our world, just visit at TVC Connect for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok.
All right, now, so let's let you guys know what's coming up for today's show. On Motivation today, we will be talking about the power of influence, and joining us to help expand further is Itunuoluwa Omotayo, a human resources and education consultant, as well as a transformational coach that equips the next generation with cutting-edge wisdom and practical tools. And if you're interested in the world of interior design, we are joined on SME by Michael Chukwuma of Best Interior Blinds that produce and install quality blinds across Lagos, Nigeria. Oh, look at that. Interesting. Luxurious
stuff. All right.
Welcome, everybody, from off of a very wet weekend, I must say, because, boy,
it was raining.
One of you has to break the jinx.
What jinx is?
Have you had Salah ram meat? Please tell me one of you has had.
Not yet. No, not yet.
What's happening? What's happening?
Oh, we did talk about it on Friday. That no pressure.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, we said no pressure, didn't we? Now we said
no pressure.
If you don't get invited for some, don't be pressured.
Look.
The times are
different.
There's some people that are buying 10 rams, 12 rams. It might just mean that we have bad attitude.
Really? Mike?
It might just mean that that's why I've not had ram meat.
What did I send you? I sent you something over the weekend. Something about the ramifications of not being... I can't remember. It was
my God.
Very interesting, poetically put together.
Today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I have hopes. But then the rains over the weekend.
Oh, God. Tell me about the rains. I suffered from the rain starting since on Friday, actually.
On Friday, yeah.
Because on Friday we had hung out together on Friday, and then we tried to make our way back home. A few of you had it easier than the rest of us. Getting home for me is always very easy. In about 30 minutes, I'm home each time if I leave at the right time. But on this occasion, I was on time, but the floods just before getting into Festac was cordoned off. By nature, you couldn't get in or get out. If you were in traffic, you were trapped in traffic. And for a 10-minute drive, it actually took me 3.5 hours. Put together, I spent 5.5 hours on the road.
Goodness.
So this is what happened here. We're coming from the island, and then you go faster. You go ahead, and then everybody's blaming me. Oh, Mike, what Mike, Mazino's already in bed. But we were snoring. Oh, jeez. And then we now hear the update.
There's a word for that. It's called Schadenfreude. When you're happy for other people's dismay, now you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. In any case, we already know how bad the weather's been for a bit now, but it doesn't stop us from telling you what it's going to be like today and perhaps all over Nigeria. So do stay tuned. After that, we've got the news and more discussions coming your way. My name is Mazino Apil, and this is the news. Now, for emergency management to be effective, responders must share information, work together, gather intelligence, and look for early warnings. The Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Oluwafemi Oke, stated while speaking at a one-day capacity building workshop, stating that safety of lives and property cannot be achieved without the unification of security agencies and emergency responders. The agency is reassuring residents of Lagos that they can report any emergency using the emergency lines 112 or 767. A report here.
In less than 48 hours, the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency has responded to multiple distress calls throughout Lagos, from reports on flooding and flood damage in affected areas to a tanker truck incident in the synagogue area of Ikotu. While advising Lagosians to avoid non-essential travel in areas that are most affected by flood, the agency is appealing to community leaders to use the public holidays to carry out some remedial clearing of blocked drainage to allow for free flow of water. To this end, the agency is engaging security operatives and emergency responders at this one-day workshop in Lagos.
Anything that's life-threatening issues, you must address it holistically. And this meeting is called on us to fine-tune our modus of operandi. One, believe me, I say it loud and clear, intelligence gathering, early warning is the key in emergency management, is the gateway.
He further emphasized that if any of the responders, including residents, have information and it is not shared, such information can be considered useless.
Appealing to the good people of Lagos State that inasmuch that we are doing our bits, inasmuch that we are focused, inasmuch that we abide with the rules and regulations put in place by Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, we are ready on our own part. The citizens should do their own part.
With rising cases of insecurity, stakeholders are advising residents in Lagos to be vigilant, conduct census in their neighborhoods, and raise alarm to help security agencies apprehend criminals or persons disrupting the peace of the state.
The situation of the country today, there are issues of kidnapping, issues of bandits, issues of miscreants, traffic robbers, and all of that. We should be aware of any vehicle we are entering, and we should tell our people, our family, wherever we are going, we should let them know. And we should let them know when we get there. We should also tell them when we are coming back.
The agency wants residents to report incidents within their area to government agencies using the emergency numbers in Lagos State. Sarah Ayeku, TVC News, Lagos.
To the war against drug trafficking now, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has seized 50 parcels of cannabis concealed in food items of Peter Eno, an orphan at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi says the illicit drug, which weighs 2.80 kilograms, was planted into Petra's luggage by one Matthew Bassi, an alleged human trafficker. He said the drug was bound for Dubai, United Arab Emirates, before the orphan was intercepted at the airport due to discrepancies between the age declared. The 29-year-old suspect, Matthew Bassi, is from Oron local government area of Akwa Ibom State. He was arrested on July 6 while lurking around the airport. In a related development, the desperate bid by a drug trafficker, Ajuruchukwu Onyekwe, to travel by road to Algeria through Sokoto State with ingested wraps of cocaine in his stomach was frustrated by NDLE operatives, and no fewer than 1,900 tablets, milligrams of tramadol, were seized from a drug dealer, Mustafa Ijabula, on a Adamawa-bound commercial vehicle. In Akwa Ibom State, a transporter trafficker, Funku Dasi, was arrested with 6,000 tablets of the same milligrams of tramadol concealed in cartons of Indomie noodles.
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the newspapers this morning. Today is Monday, July 11th, 2022. The Guardian newspaper has this headline: Can MBF, Arewa, ex-scribe, others decry APC's Muslim ticket? Tinubu, why I picked Shetima as my running mate? Muslim ticket, insensitive choice, breach of constitutions, says Adegborougha. We would have preferred Muslim-Christian ticket, APC Rebirth Group says. And amid disquiet in Northwest, Wamako sues for peace. That and much more on that story, starting on the cover and wrapping up on page 6. In the photo story here, it's that's the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, roundabout at Ejigbo, Lagos, yesterday. One of the bottlenecks impeding the city's journey towards being smart, it says right there. That particular junction has had challenges for quite a while. Right beneath the masthead there, it says Serap sues 36 governors for failing to fund education for poor children. Worries as Rivers APC chiefs dump party. And why Musk is terminating $44 billion Twitter deal. Page 3 has more on that. We're ready to join NLC in solidarity with ASU, say textile workers. What else do we have here? Right at the bottom, church leaders restate demand for self-defense and state police, and demand for retraction of publication and public apology. That story continues on page 11. That's what we have on the cover of The Guardian. We also have with us This Day newspaper. Major headline goes like this: Tinubu rewards loyalty over competence, electoral value, religious balance, it says. It says also here, says spirit of 1993 is upon us in 2023. Briefs Buhari in Daura, Mazari stands down. And governors angry over decision, meet president in home state today. Just beneath the masthead, it says Rewani 2023 may be Nigeria's costliest elections ever in history. Estimates 6 trillion to be spent to win a presidential election. And let's see what else we have here. We have right at the top, it says IOC is killing local oil servicing companies in Nigeria, says Wabote, and wants 40% cost reduction deal with NNPC and oil majors renegotiated. That's what we have on the cover of This Day. We also have with us The Sun, or rather the Daily Sun newspaper. It says here, group councils Wike over romance with APC governors on page 26. And why I settled for Shetima, ex-Borno governor, APC candidate. And what else do we have here? Lagos boat mishap, death toll rises to 17 as 4 more bodies recovered. That's what we have on the cover of the Daily Sun. At this point, we're heading over for fitness. Stay with us.
Yeah, you're going to need those exercises after this weekend and all the ramming and eating and chopping and everything, I'm guessing. What are you guys doing?
Waiting in they do.
Nice way to segue into our conversation here, because we have a topic today and we want to ask you a question. In fact, I should ask you a question straight up.
Okay.
Can your kids speak Pidgin English?
They can. I discourage it. Okay. And I know they fully understand it.
But they can.
But they can.
All right, fantastic. And they're how old again?
They're going to be, well, they're 9 now.
9
so they're going to be 10.
My daughter's going to be 7.
Okay.
And only just yesterday evening, we discovered that she cannot speak Pidgin English. She might understand what you're saying in bits, but she cannot actually construct her own. And it got me thinking. I believe that Pidgin English is actually a legacy. I think that it's one of the best languages in Nigerian history. Why? Because wherever you go in Nigeria, you will get away with communicating with people if you can speak Pidgin English. By extracting or by subtracting that ability from our kids, thinking that we're raising bourgeois children, are we doing them a disservice? Because I've met people, grown-ups, who cannot speak Pidgin English, whether in learned societies or in C-class or D-class societies.
Yeah.
They're unable to. They're alienated when they go to the market. They're alienated from conversations with regular people because people think that they're being a bit too, upper class for them, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So is it a disservice if your kids cannot speak Pidgin English? To round it up, we've agreed that we have to start teaching our daughters to speak Pidgin English.
Wow. So even back then, I was also discouraged growing up, but there's something I would say, we found a way to pick it up. Because I've always said this at different times, that look, your children will pick up stuff from their peers faster than they'll pick up from their parents.
True.
So you have to, that's why I've always said that ensuring that your kids' friends are your friends is paramount. So you like what you're going to do, I don't know how easy it might be for you, but I know it will be easier for her.
Just pick it up from outside.
If her peers can do. And then something, a number of people might want to say, why would you teach your kids to read? But there's something you mentioned while you were introing what we're talking about now. It's acceptable. It's accepted nationwide. You go to some places, the common ground might be pigeon. You go to the market, woman. You can't tell her, I'm looking for mackerel.
I would like to buy some mackerel, please.
All right, I like to buy some mackerel.
Okay, so can I come in? Can I come in here?
Go ahead, please.
So, as Mike said, I believe they'll pick it up eventually. But I'm not going to use that as a foundation, right? So I would rather the foundation is rather solid in proper grammar, or what we call Nigerian English, or even better, their native tongue, which is Yoruba.
Can they speak Yoruba?
Than Pidgin.
How well do they speak Yoruba?
So they speak Yoruba, but the intonation isn't perfect. Mine isn't perfect either. But the truth is they understand every single instruction, especially if they're in trouble. But I would rather, so I would rather teach them their native tongue than teach them Pidgin. That's just a personal preference.
Okay. Well, you see, the thing with native tongue, it's only going to be, it's restricted to if they're in this part of the country.
True.
If they are in Sokoto, for instance, would they be able to use their native tongue to get out of trouble? No, but would they stand a better chance using Pidgin English?
Possibly, yes. Possibly.
Yes.
But now, the challenge we've had as parents these days is you have nannies and helps that come in to the home, and they end up speaking Pidgin to the kids anyway. And sometimes it becomes a problem, such a problem that when they get into school, it's hard for them to actually construct complete sentences.
No. In your case, I think you've already laid a foundation. There's nothing that's ever going to spoil that foundation.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, no.
You'd be surprised.
I'm a product of such a home.
Because if they're in class and then they say it's this way, and then their classmate that they really actually like or want to feel among with says this is how it is, they tend to believe them.
I do voiceovers for a living. I was raised so, foundation English, Pidgin English after. We communicated in Pidgin English in my home. However, our English was perfect growing up. And it's not affected in
But I don't think that might be the case in every...
Now, I was going to come there and say, because you said something about I can't remember how you put
peers.
it. How they can pick it up.
From their peers
had to pick it up as well. But the fact is this, the conditions that you grew up in are very different from the conditions these kids are growing up in. Now, I'll tell you why. My daughter is growing up in a compound that's gated, and she can't go out to meet other kids except the kids that are inside of the compound. Now, these kids also speak English. The conditions are very different. She's not going to get the opportunity in school. The school she goes to discourages them speaking Pidgin English.
Okay, now that's something. Now, I remember we now have media organizations that have Pidgin departments.
Beautiful.
That broadcast in Pidgin. What does that even tell you? People are studying Pidgin.
Yes.
Apart from even studying Yoruba and studying. So we have to get to the point where it is dissuaded. We just have to get to the point that let them know how to do it and pari passu, side by side. It is not, I mean, people now broadcast, like you said, when you can broadcast. So it is in their best interest that they also learn. I know that foreign languages now are the in thing.
Oh, Mike, it's like
Spanish,
you're reading my mind.
There's Italian, there's French.
Mandarin.
There's and all of that. It is. But not all of them will have the opportunity to go outside the country. And if they go, they might not stay there for so long. If they're going to be here, they've been growing up here. Yes, plan them for outside, but I would agree with Mazino.
It's a case of man know thyself.
For them
if you're not Nigerian enough, first off, you want to go and start communicating outside.
You'd be surprised.
That Pidgin here.
So a lot of
especially if you're going to
okay, so you do realize that Pidgin itself is also evolving. There were some words that existed when we were growing up. That are not really used anymore. So in the end, I still prefer they learn the one that is current rather than creating...
And see, those current ones, you don't want me to learn them.
No.
Learn that current one. Hey,
okay.
For me personally,
but
Pidgin, Pidgin would be, if I speak Pidgin with you, it would mean that I'm a bit more familiar with you. That's what happens. It will be that there are some kind of people that, even though both of us are native, we can speak good English, but we cannot communicate in English.
It has a special relationship with the person.
Yeah, normally.
Okay,
but normally,
special story, a personal story. I came in from the UK at age 10. I had never heard a word of Pidgin ever in my life. It took me 9 months
to start speaking it.
To start speaking it. 9 months. And I had to. I didn't have a choice because I was in a community where that was the only way to communicate. And I wasn't getting the intonation right. I wasn't getting
well, you made it this far.
But I made it. So I feel like we should just let the kids evolve.
We go try round up now as they talk as they go like this. Make me say, you teach your Pekin, then they sabi how to wind their mouth, they speak Pidgin because pay is necessary.
Really?
So, now, like, so we'll take end everything. If you get any comments we won't make sure so you won't make you use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. We'll catch you now later.
Titi.
We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. Now, it's a Monday morning, meaning we have our motivation segment, as always. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of influence. That word is being used a lot more these days, especially online. And today, we have someone joining us to help expand further. Itunoluwa Omotayo is a human resources and educational consultant, as well as a transformational coach, someone that equips the next generation with some cutting-edge wisdom and practicable tools. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So good to be back here.
Okay, so that word influence.
It's a huge word.
It's quite a big word. I do remember when I was growing up that it was captains of industry, MDs, CEOs, people in government that were considered influencers. Now we have a lot of people who have a lot of followers also being called influencers. Now, I have to ask what influence actually is.
Yeah, okay, so thank you for that question, bro. I'll, piggyback a bit to what you said about when you were growing up and our captains of industries and all. I remember that I also had a government official, still in government now, as a role model then, a woman, and there was just something about her. It was probably her courage or the way she dressed and all of that. So what is influence in itself? Influence is a person or a thing's capacity to have an effect on your character, on your development, on your thought process, on your perspective, just generally. So that's the literal interpretation. So I would put it as a person's ability to affect how you reason, how you behave, and how you turn out in a certain way, right? So influence could be direct or indirect. It could be positive, it could be negative, it could be tangible or even intangible, the seemingly little things that we say, oh, it's not a big deal, I picked this up and it doesn't have a negative effect, so to say, right? So influence affects your perspective, your ideologies, your actions, all of which add up to your development, your growth as a person. Okay. So if you ask me, what are the things that influence? There are so many things that influence people, right? People influence, platforms, peers. So I like the conversation. I was telling you the other time that I like the conversation on the coffee chat this morning when you're talking about how sometimes children get influenced by their peers, right? So that is also a form of influence, right? But I'm going to put all of that into two major pathways to say that we majorly get influenced by what we see and what we hear.
What we see and what we hear?
Yes.
Okay.
So what are the organs here? What organ do we use to see? Our eyes. And then the organs to hear are ears, of course, not our nose, right? So if you look at so you might wonder, how does your eyes, how do they, trigger influence? How do they influence you? But so if you think about what you watch, for instance,
films, movies.
Yes. Thank you. Movies and
music videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. How you interact with even your environment and things like that. These things influence you. You will discover that sometimes you read a book and you almost immediately want to make some changes, some adjustments in the way you do things and all that. That is influence, right? Sometimes also you watch a person. Remember I said when I was growing up, I had a government official for a role model. So there was something I saw about her. Probably how she carried, it must have been out. I mean, I was so young, how she carried herself. I'm sure if I mentioned her name, many people know.
Who are you talking about? You don't want to mention her? Okay, all right, go ahead.
Right, there was something about Mrs. Abikedabi.
Of course.
Right, so growing up, there was just something about her. I was still very much...
A courage, yes.
Yes, a courage.
Mine was Eugenia Abu.
Really?
Yes. But keep going.
Yeah. So when we see people like that, so what you see, what you interact with, the movies that you, and sometimes even for the movies that we watch, for instance, you watch certain movies and it sort of intensifies your struggle with certain habits. So all of these things under what you see. There's also another aspect of what you see, speaking to who you see, who you surround yourself with, who you study, right? Because, you know, it's how we say that we are the average of the 5 most important people in our lives.
I was going to talk a bit about that myself. I was going to talk about your closest circle. Now, we're talking about a lot of media platforms, but then we sort of skip over the people that are in our homes. For instance, I mentioned earlier today that helps and nannies end up influencing our children. And, of course, our parents influenced us, and then we also influence our children. So how do we sort of, in quote, make sure that there's a sort of balance?
Balance there. Okay, so let me just give you a quick example to that. You see that there are some adults today that they typically do not eat, for instance, after a certain time in the evening. And it's not because they're watching their weight or anything. It's just because the home that they grew up from, that was the norm, that was the habit. So it sort of grew up with them and all that. So how do you create the balance? First, I would say the foundation, which is the value, and that starts from the home, right? So I believe that the home front is the major place that influence starts for every child, for every young person. Even for adults today, I'm sure that if you think about some of the things you do, somehow it can figure you back to when you were growing up and, you know, certain things that you picked up from the home front. An example is a child that today comes across as a bully or, you know, aggressive or something. There's that tendency of coming from a home front where there's a bit of aggression. Right. So when it comes to how to balance it, you also want to be careful about what you surround yourself with, the kind of people that you surround yourself with. And for parents, the role of parents, for instance, things, I mean, so I've taught in the school before, in the class, so I've been in the classroom before, and I've had parents that, you know, the child came home with certain, and they came back to school to say, okay, this is what I heard from my child. It wasn't from the home. So I want to find out if this was from, so let's just be able to find out where this came from. So it's also that intentionality to, you know, be careful about what our children pick up and all that. And even for young adults and, you know, older people, the kind of things that you surround yourself with, the kind of conversations that you engage in.
Okay, I want to touch on influence and success. So there is there are a lot of books these days. Everybody's saying all the billionaires are reading books. They read 10 books a month, all those things. I'm just thinking about the fact that sometimes there are extremely structured homes that end up not really influencing a child or a young person. For instance, they always say the clergy's daughter is always the most wayward. That's the only example I can give.
So I would say the reason why the clergy's daughter is wayward is not because the father is a clergy. So it's probably a combination of other things on the home front. So the parent's personality, let me not assume it's the father that is the clergy now. So the parent's personality, the interaction, the relationship, what the child feels like he or she has missed out on. So there are many factors that could have contributed to a clergy's child, like every other child, turning out wayward, right? So where we try to bring in that touch or zoom in there is because the parent is a clergy. But it could be the same thing for every other child. A clergy's child is like every other child, right? Because every child is supposed to live in a normal environment and be allowed to grow as a child, regardless of, you know, the title or whatever is surrounding the parents. I know that, I mean, that's a very...
It's a touchy word.
Yes.
But then is there a way back from it? Is there, maybe if you've been influenced by having a soldier or an army man or an army parent, is there a way to come back from it? Is there a way to change things after you've been influenced so much by that structure?
Yes, so it also still boils back to the power of intention, so intentionality. So when you've realized what this influence has done to you, and remember we said influence could be positive or negative. So there are some influences that you don't want to recover from. It has done something good to you, but if it's a negative influence, regardless of, you know, where that influence came from, parents, peers, environment, wherever, you want to be intentional about, you know, personal development, about evolving. And I think the first place is to realize or recognize that this is not a place to be. This experience or this person has left a negative influence with me, and to, you know, still the word intentionally or practically go back to say, okay, so what is the way back from here? What resources do I need to interact with? Who can help me practically in this? Do I need to seek professional help to break free from the old of this influence in my life, right? So like I was saying, there are different ways by which a person gets influenced, and we've talked about what you see. There's also what you listen. Okay,
go ahead.
There's also what you listen to, right? There's also what you listen to, and an example is music. So. Social media, for instance, I'm going to use that. So think about...
We are going to wrap up because I know you're going to come back another time to continue on this particular topic. It's inexhaustible.
It's inexhaustible.
But I have to say thank you for breaking it down as much as possible. Hopefully someone at home has learned a thing or two. And we're going to be a little bit more intentional about the influences in our environment. All right, then. We have so much more coming your way. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We have quite a bit still coming your way right here on Wake Up Nigeria. The show has basically just begun. Stay with us. Yeah, it's the numero uno breakfast show on Nigerian TV, Wake Up Nigeria. Hopefully, the journey has been sweet for you like it's been for us.
Absolutely. Now, we have 45 minutes still to come here on the show, and we choose to waste no time at all, as we know that this is where you come for the best viewing pleasures that you all look for every single weekend to start you off for a Monday. That's why we're here.
Just a quick reminder, we're still in flight and we'll be landing shortly.
Oh, we're still doing that,
Yes, we are. Just keep your seatbelts on. It's going to be a great ride.
Enjoy it. Please, we expect that at the end of this, all you, won't be living without any valuable experience. In fact, you'll be leaving with a world of so. So, in anticipation, hey, we say thank you very much for joining us, and do wait for the next 45 minutes for premium service coming your way. My name is Mazino Apia.
And I'm Titilaya Oyinson. You can use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC across all social media platforms to be a part of the best breakfast show on Nigerian TV.
And catch us, of course, from anywhere you might be across the world. All you need to do is download our app on iOS or on Google Play Store.
Make sure you're following us on social media. Quite a lot of information and entertainment right there. All our handles, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all at TVC Connect.
Yes, indeed. Now, for the next 45 minutes, let's let you know what we have coming your way. If you're interested in the world of interior design, we are going to be joined on SME by Michael Chukwuma. He is of Best Interior Blinds. They provide and produce and install also quality blinds across Lagos, Nigeria. You can take a look at this one right here. Quite interesting. Well, we'll be having that conversation with him in just about a bit.
All right.
Welcome back for a second hour here. And although we didn't get to start the show by talking about the most important topic right now in Lagos State, which is the floods that's been ravaging, I'll put it that way. I was going through Instagram, or rather was it Twitter, and someone asked the question, is there anywhere in Lagos that's not affected by the flood? And it was hard for anyone to say that there's one particular place that absolutely isn't affected. And it's so bad. Mike, if you remember earlier in the year, we talked about the fact that the National Meteorological Agency said that we're going to have a rather high occurrence of rainfall this year. But
it will be.
Question is, did we have anything? Did we do anything about it?
Funny enough, Facebook sent me a reminder 5 years back, 2017, and I basically had the same thing on my Facebook post. I was talking about what really can we do. We are a coastal city.
Oh, look
we live in. Okay, this is a
sad story.
The instance in Okoba.
There has been an official report by the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service that all the occupants were safe or are safe.
Wow.
That's the official statement that all the occupants are safe. So that was again. These are other parts of Lagos, Yaba. But you mentioned something here. I think there's some areas that are higher than some other areas.
Yes.
Somewhere like Magodo, where we are situated, is a little bit on the high side. Some parts of Ogba, I know some parts of Bega, they're hilly. Yeah. So those that are situated on top of the hills might not have so much issues. But we are a coastal city. And then there's a lot of land has been reclaimed from the seas at different points in Lekki and all of that. That's why when the sea level rises, considering the part that you try to reclaim water, look, it's nature. One very hard thing to fight against is nature. We have to stop reclaiming land. That's for me. That's what I think. That's what we want, to stop reclaiming land. And then we have to find a way. Someone said, can we make Lekki like a Venice or something?
No.
So even all those places such as Venice, they've been around for hundreds of years. Lagos is still a young city in terms of age to get to that level. Even places like Amsterdam, where there are canals everywhere.
Let me give you a bit of.
I'm just gonna say it does take a while to get to that level.
Not really.
Let me say this.
So. Not really. Someone said that, look, America, they're 200 years, Nigeria, was 60 plus. There are things that people have learned before that you can leverage on experience. My dad always used to say something, said a wise man learns from other people's experiences and mistakes. This is a bit, but he said one who's foolish would have to wait until he experiences before he learns. They've spent so much time. You can glean from them. You don't have to be as old as them to get to where they are.
As we can see on the screen now, these are rescue efforts for the vehicle at Okoba, if I'm not mistaken here. And I think from this we learned that the occupants were actually, all three of them were safe. But I want to jump on that thing you said about Lagos becoming a Venice. There's a difference. Venice was intentional. Venice was actually a product of strategy, war strategy. They had to go a place where people could not attack them. And what else to do but to use the marshlands. They built houses on the marshlands, and when they were done with the marshlands, they had to start building on water to extend the circumference of the city. Now, Venice is built on pillions, wooden pillions. So it's intentional. Lagos is already just land that's almost just
But then we have Makoko, we have some areas like
that. So
I
was coming to Makoko. Makoko was the biggest tourist possibility that we ever had in Lagos, but the intention to destroy it always, every single time, is something that baffles me. And I'm thinking, do you know how much you could make from this and how you could learn, actually study what these people are doing and use other parts of Lagos?
So I'm going to touch a little bit on...
We have to go now.
Okay.
We have to go. But I'll just say, General, be careful. When you see the water moving small, don't come and thinking that your car is submarine.
It's four-wheel drive.
All right. Let's take a look at the weather, of course.
I wish we had more time to talk about it, especially rules of if your car is submerged. We should talk about that later on. We're going to be taking the weather now.
Good morning and welcome once again. It's the second hour for Wake Up Nigeria. Let's do the news. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now, the war against drug trafficking, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has seized 50 parcels of cannabis concealed in food items of Mr. Peter Eno, an orphan at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi says the illicit drug was weighing 2.80 kilograms and was planted into Peter's luggage by one Matthew Bassi, an alleged human trafficker. He said the drug was bound for Dubai, United Arab Emirates, before the orphan was intercepted at the airport due to discrepancies between the age she declared and the date of birth on her international passport. The 29-year-old suspect, Matthew Bassi, is from Oran local government area of Akwa Ibom State. He was arrested on July 6 while lurking around the airport. In a related development, the desperate bid by a drug trafficker, Aju Ruchuku Onyekwe, to travel by road to Algeria through Sokoto State with ingested wraps of cocaine in his stomach was frustrated by NDLEA operators. And no fewer than 1,900 milligrams of tramadol were seized from a drug dealer, Mustafa Ijabula, on Adamawa-bound commercial vehicle. In Akwa Ibom State, a trans-border trafficker, Franco Dasi, was arrested with 6,000 tablets of the same milligrams of tramadol concealed in cartons of Indomie noodles. Now, outside Nigeria, police in South Africa have confirmed the killing of 19 persons in two bar shootings, one in a township close to Johannesburg and another in eastern South Africa. At least 15 people have been killed and several persons injured after a shooting at a bar in the South African township of Soweto, according to a Gauteng police statement. The incident unfolded shortly after midnight when a group of men armed with rifles and 9mm pistols entered the bar in a settlement near Johannesburg and started shooting randomly at the patrons. Police also say 23 people were shot and 12 died right at the scene. The suspects are still on the run. Witnesses have been asked to come forward to give more explanations of how it all happened to the police. And you're welcome. It's SME, and today we have a very interesting personality here with us, someone who you can actually take some real samples from and start your own business. Now, if you're interested in the world of interior design, we are joined by, well, on SME here, Mr. Michael Chukwuma of Best. Now, that's the Best Interior Blinds. They produce and install quality blinds across Lagos. You are welcome, Chukwuma. Good to have you here on the show.
All right.
So we want to learn from you as a local entrepreneur here in Nigeria, someone who has actually taken whatever they can do and found the best from it. Tell us about the Best Interiors, first of all, when you guys started and all.
Okay, the Best Interior Blinds, we started business as of 2020.
Okay.
We started business as of 2020. So, and since 2020, we started, we have been going far. We have been reaching through all Nigerians. We've been doing business. We've been on business since 2020, and we've been going far.
That's here in Lagos, especially. That's where you started.
Even outside Lagos. We started in Lagos, but we deliver nationwide.
Nigeria.
Yeah, nationwide.
So we saw a couple of the products that you guys and services that you guys provide. They were very, very luxurious, and we're wondering exactly who your clients are and how you get to meet these clients. It's one thing to start a business. It's another thing to get the customers. Where do you, as a local entrepreneur, get the customers that come for your products from?
Okay, modern days, we have the internet.
Oh, nice.
So the internet helps a lot in business, in all business aspects now in Nigeria. So I get many of my customers from social media.
Nice.
You understand? So I get people calling me from Kano, even Abuja and Ibadan, many places, all states in Nigeria. So
how do you now service these people with your location here in Lagos? Do you send people to help deliver and also install? Do you go yourself? How many people work for you?
Okay. Well, when a client call me, from other states, so where we talk business, and if sometimes they might not be the consumer, actually they are contractors, from other states as well.
Yeah.
So I have many of them, so when they call me, we're on business, we talk, then they give me the order, we produce and make the way to them, we deliver to them, to any state,
Wait, you say you produce as well?
Yes, I produce the blinds.
So we saw one with this very goldy looking. I don't know if we can show that one again in just about a bit. It doesn't look like it was produced here in Nigeria. So you're saying that that's it there.
That one is lawyer blinds.
Okay.
That one is Turkish lawyer blinds.
Okay.
So it is fully imported.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We have day and night. We have wooden. We have roller blinds. We have other majorities of window blinds that are produced here in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it.
Well, I'm very curious as to how did you start? What made you say, okay, this is a business I want to go into? The reason why I'm asking is there's a lot of young people out there who don't know what to do with their time, but they want to make money.
Yeah.
And there's so many, there are businesses out there, there are crafts out there that they can actually engage in, but they're unable to perhaps maybe find exactly which one suits them. How did you find that this is what suits me? Because you're excelling at it now, and then say, okay, fine, this is what I'm going to go into. How did that all happen in the beginning?
Well, it's all been God. At the beginning, it was tough. But, as time goes by, we keep making profits and we keep growing. You understand? So starting the business when I came to Lagos, I came to Lagos in 2016.
Okay.
So I learned this business from my uncle.
Oh, so you learned from someone?
I learned from somebody.
Okay.
I spent 3 years in learning the business. So after learning, I needed to start something, to feed family and get by. So so I started hustling little by little till I was able to get the fund to start up, So I encourage every other Nigerians to do the same, There are many business out there you can do. One can engage yourself and get profits, you know, so that's it.
Wow, that's very interesting. Don't just sit down there and think that there's nothing for you to do. Like Chukwuma has said, that there's plenty of things out there that you could actually engage in, no matter how little it might seem. It could become a nationwide thing, like in your instance. It's not just here in Lagos. I mean, see how it started from learning from somebody else and then expanding the business using social media, which is like the biggest advertising tool that anybody could actually use right now. All right, so how many people work for you now? Because you learned from someone. Are there people who are also learning from you at this point?
I have people like 4 of them learning.
So you're a big man now then?
It's all good. It's all good. Thank
you
God.
have 4 of them.
So I have 4 of them learning, and I have 4 major workers as well. So everything in my office is 8. Yeah, every person in my office is 8.
All right, we also noticed that some of the blinds are remote control. So there's a bit of electrical know-how that goes into it, yes? Am I correct?
Yeah. The remote control, it is a rechargeable blinds that when being charged...
That's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, when being charged, it can last for like 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can last for like 6 months. Then before you can charge again.
Do I need NEPA for them to work, or they're... Oh, you said they're rechargeable.
It's rechargeable.
So I don't need NEPA.
So you need NEPA, like
just to charge it.
Yeah, just to charge it.
Or if there's no light. If there's no light, it will still operate.
Once you charge it completely, it will last you for like 6 months.
Nice.
So before you can charge again.
Wow, very interesting. And you install all of that?
Yeah, we install all of that.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Brilliant. Chukwuma, man, I can't say that I've not learned anything from your endeavor. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who have also learned from what you can do with your own hands and try and also export it. Now, there's one small thing I want to ask before we end. Have you ever had an instance where a customer didn't like something that you did? And how do you interact with them? How do you, I don't know, what do you do in that situation?
Okay, yeah. We do have, so the thing is, before we could, to avoid problems, before we could embark on journey, we have to send you samples, so you select, you pick whichever one you want. It's your choice, you know. And if it happens that the customer doesn't like it, we have to satisfy that customer at any cost.
Yeah, nice.
Once you pay us money, we have to satisfy you at any cost. So we'll have to change it for you. You know, that's it.
That's good. So I see that Mike has a question for Chukwuma. Mike, you're very curious. You want to? Is this a business that you're considering?
The price is my own now is just.
Aha.
Let's talk about the money, because you know it's not all. A number of people are scared about some particular kind of these decorative blinds, especially the ones with the remote, because of the expense. How is your pricing like?
Yeah. So how much do these blinds cost?
Actually, all of them are not of the same price. You know, you can see there's one with remote. There are some that are not.
That Turkish one, for instance. Now, how much?
That Turkish one is 150,000.
For just that one window?
For just that one window.
150,000. If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 4 windows in my living room. So that's 600,000.
Yes.
Chukwuma, you're making money.
This is not door, just window.
That's a lot. We haven't talked about the door.
Just window, it's not door.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But my question would be about installation time. Does it take a long time to put these things together, or because we know that there's some that they just mount and go?
Yeah.
But how long does this take to put together?
Well, the installation doesn't take that much time. Like that Turkish one, like in less than we get it fixed in less than an hour 30 minutes. Yeah, we have complete the installation of the blinds. Yeah. So.
Okay, so bro, so me now, I just said that 150 is too much. So I think that if I want to learn from you now, so that I can use my house as learning ground and all that. So if I want to work with you and say I want to learn from you now, do you have that kind of opportunity for people to learn from?
Yeah.
Yes, I give people opportunity to learn because I learned from somebody as well.
Like you, I'm coming to learn. I mean, where do we start?
So you train?
Yeah, I train people. I train people.
Do they have to pay you for training?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
But at least they're gonna give you some service or give some span of service from them.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, Chukwuma, it's fantastic that you have come. Thank you very much, man. We've learned a lot from you. Man, your handshake is It's strong. But thank you very much. And we're hoping that you out there have learned something from Chukwuma's business here and that you can put it into place somehow, somewhere. And hey, Mike, Titi, I don't know, what have you guys learned from today's SME?
Yeah, I'm thinking about changing my curtains now, man. I think my curtains are now old school. I think I need to upgrade.
Don't you have learned to make more money so that you can buy Turkish this thing? But then I remember you wanted to talk about, you said you had something to talk about submerging when...
oh, yes, we're talking about
you have that kind of experience?
The rules when it comes to flooding. So the rules, yeah, so if there's some videos online, if, for instance, you're in a vehicle and you realize that the water is getting up to where the window is, wind down and open the door. Get out of the vehicle. You have a better chance of surviving if you're outside the vehicle.
It's simple physics.
Yes.
You don't want to create buoyancy. So if the doors are open, the water comes in and it doesn't lift the car.
Exactly.
That's what you see.
But who sent you to the... You don't... It used to start small.
Don't drive water. Yeah,
you're going small.
And if...
A small splash, you go. You climb up to your ankle, you go. You climb up to your... You're still driving this SUV and carrying.
Please don't stay in the vehicle. You have a better chance outside the vehicle than in.
That's it for a Monday edition. I want to thank everybody for being on the show and everybody for seeing us out there, especially for a holiday Monday. Thank you very much, guys. And, of course, we're going to catch you guys on tomorrow's edition. Mike?
Please, please, please. There's still one day. Tomorrow. Just send to me address DM where I can come and chop ram. I'm available. I will see you tomorrow.
Catch you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Guys.